Okay, we should be live. Guys, Saturday night. Hi, welcome to another episode. Oh, good times ahead. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Tonight, we're going to talk about gear. I'm just looking around and I got 6 different screens here, making sure everything's going on. But we should be live, we should be loud, and we got it going on. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So, for those unfamiliar, Saturday Night High is a show that I bring a bunch of the viewers on, people from the Discord. We sit, we chat, we talk about different subjects. If I'd have planned this better, this would have been a chat about extractions because today is oil day, which, I don't know, it's sensationalized or something, who knows. But no, tonight we're talking gear. We're going to talk about gear that you love, gear that you hate, the stuff that's really awesome. And yeah, we're just going to get into it. But before we do that, I got a bunch of stuff here. So I'm gonna announce a couple of contest winners, guys. A couple of them are actually sitting in the stream here tonight too, so that's kind of cool. So about a month ago, I launched a contest after hitting 250,000 views on the YouTube channel. I thought I'd like to give back, and by doing so, I launched a contest with a whole bunch of sponsors, and these are the winners. So right off the top, Riot, brother, you are winner of Dino Myco, the prize pack. There's a pouch in there, and you get a nice ball cap as well.
No way!
Right, yeah, totally. So, and this is all random number generated, drawn. I mean, it just happens to be that we actually have 2 winners in the stream tonight. And I'll get to the second one in just a minute here because he's like the big winner of the night. It's like, wow. Vorgstorm, Calgary, Alberta, and you make this easy on me, man, because now I don't have to ship this stuff across the country. You win a Gaia Green prize pack, and that's a tub of 444 and a tub of biochar. Good stuff. So congrats to you, sir. We'll have to sync up here in town, and I can drop that off because it's a lot cheaper than shipping it. Now, the Canadian bean giveaway goes to Tim Payne and Timothy James, and it's actually kind of funny because Timothy James we may have had on the show tonight, but he couldn't make it, so it could have been 3, but that's okay, guys, you win a 5-pack of beans here, each from our friends over at ILGM, so I will be in contact about that. Corey Moss, the first winner of a $170 coupon code for ILGM. And the second winner of that would be David Neff. And then the third winner of that, and actually one of my top tier patrons, happens to be sitting here in the stream tonight, Mr. Smokes a Lot of Splits. Congrats, brother. You win a $170 back. Now, side note, guys, the Patreons, they got a little bit of extra love tonight because, well, they show me the love. So I do a little bit of an extra contest for them. Everybody is able to enter the Patreon contest as well as everybody's able to enter the regular contest, but only Patreons get in the Patreon contest. So Smokes a Lot of Splits, brother, you won that $170 coupon code. And and this guy, man, and his luck tonight, he also got the Grassroots Fabric prize pack in the regular contest. So, dude, I don't know how you did it, man. At 150,
are you serious?
You nailed it twice. So yeah, that's
2x4
bed.
That's insane.
So,
right on.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
It's just, it's interesting.
I'm super stoked. That's awesome.
Yeah. So,
and
next up, Mike Lippert, you won some Wildwood Auto Seeds. Wildwood makes fantastic autos. If you've been following my weekly grows, you'll see what I've been doing out there in the outdoor garden. Matt Rome wins an Inkbird IBS TH1 sensor from our friends over at Inkbird. Those are handy little sensors. You can get them on the Bluetooth, and real cool for keeping an eye on the grow and doing some data logging as well. And then Jason Queen wins a set of canopy clips. So I'll be sending those to you, sir. Canopy clips are absolutely amazing for training. And last but not least, the last 2 Patreon prizes. The Canadian prize pack of some ILGM seeds goes to Eric R. And our good friend and past guest, Old Time Rock and Roll, he wins a set of autos. So, guys, congrats to all the winners. I will be in touch here over the next day or so, and Smokes a Lot of Splits. Holy crap, man. You're not allowed to win any more contests for at least 6 months. So, quick
Matt,
there. If
I'm
you
stoked, dude.
If you do want to get into, this show itself, Saturday Night High, you can follow me on Patreon. Patreon members definitely get first stab at a seat here at the table, as well as anybody in the Discord. I'm going to put a Discord link up here in the chat, or maybe I can get one of the moderators on the YouTube there. Matt Hatter, maybe you can throw that up for me there, brother. I actually had that window up, but I seem to have lost it. There we go. So, that being said, guys, one more thing. Shout out to Mars Hydro. We're talking gear. Mars Hydro sponsors me. They show me the love. Check out their lights. And I believe at least one of you have. That being said, guys, let's talk gear. Who wants to start first? I want to talk about setups. Talk about your room. Tell me about your layout and what you got going on in your space in terms of your normal gear. We'll kind of go around the room and we'll do that to start with, and then we'll get more into the specifics. So, any takers?
Sure.
Ernie.
Let's. Yeah, I'll go first.
Yeah, you got a pretty cool setup.
I get it's a little bit different. It's in a shed, so that in itself is kind of the challenge because there's no real heater, AC or anything like that. But I've kind of adapted to that. So I have one room that's a grow room, and I run HLG lights in it. And then I have a control room that has my heat, my AC, and my Inkbird, which is my heat and AC controller, which is probably one of my top-notch devices that I have.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things I was going to talk about a little bit about the different, because the one I have doesn't have Bluetooth.
Okay.
Wi-Fi. And that's something that I'd definitely like to get into. And so I can log more stuff and don't have to walk out to the shed every time I want to check a temperature.
It's awesome having that automation, that ability to just do that logging, that temperature reading at a distance for sure.
Yeah. And for my setup, I find that a lot of wind, so a lot of fans, and just keep the air circulating as much as possible in there. And I reuse the heat from one room to the other. And so it's just kind of circulating on itself, and planning out a third room right now so I can have a flower room and a veg room. But, I try to keep out all kinds of lights. So I have the one room that controls everything. I put my dehumidifier, AC, all that stuff in there. And that way I don't have any extra lights in my grow room of any sort. Because I've ran into problems, or I've read problems too, of just an LCD lighting display on, say, a dehumidifier can cause light problems in your veg room or your flower room, which, a lot of people don't really think of the ambient lights that are in the room of such items and stuff. So I try to get the ones that are like, non-digital, have the non-display units. If I have to put anything in there, like my humidifier, I use an evaporative humidifier, a little bit different than your misting type.
Yep.
And I think it's much better than the misting type because you don't have a constant spray of mist, which will leave some sort of a residue, or can leave a residue behind. So this is a little bit different, but it does pretty good. I usually run 4 plants and scrog it, just the way the room works out, and I can get about a pound out of the room. So I'm pretty happy with that, and that's my goal, to get more than a pound, and I'm pushing that. But I do straight organics, and that's about it,
man. Organics for the win. And just to touch back on the humidifier thing there, if you're not aware, reverse osmosis water, say that 5 times fast, is the best bet for a humidifier if you don't have some sort of evaporative system like Smoke and Ernie is using, because then you won't get that residue. It's something I discovered in my own grow room. Very cool setup, Ernie. We'll definitely want to talk a little bit more about something.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in there, but I'll be more than happy to share.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you do outdoor stuff too, though, right?
Yes. Yeah, I just did. I got 40-gallon bag, fabric bags. And then I did 5 of them in the ground in a little greenhouse, which the greenhouse is actually doing pretty good this year. I put fans in it, opened it up a little bit more, get a little bit more air in there, and everything's doing really good. They're actually getting fairly close to starting to bud, I would say. You can see at the top of each of the stems, it's starting to get that little bit of a wiggle as the buds start to form. So it's getting there.
Awesome.
A few more weeks and the pre-flower will start, I'm sure.
Yeah, and then the real adventure begins.
Yes.
Cool beans.
To see if we can hold on to the harvest at the end of the season.
Yeah, always a challenge. Always a challenge. So one more thing before we get into the next person talking about their setup is I meant to mention, guys, tomorrow night I'm going to be on the High Again show. They're actually sitting in the chat right now. So join us over there. We're going to have some stellar discussions about a multitude of topics, I'm sure. And if you're not subscribed to the High Again channel, whoa, good content, guys. Killer stuff. Anyway, check me out on there tomorrow night. Who wants to talk next about their space?
We're running 2 rooms currently.
Okay.
We got a 4x5 veg tent. We have a 4x4 mother tent that actually we're probably going to be getting rid of. It's more viable for us to take our clones as we're getting ready to flip to flower, right? When we're taking off that 1/3 of the bottom of the plant or 2/3 of the bottom of the plant, depending on how aggressive we want to get.
Yeah.
We got some spider farmers in the veg tent. Running a Wi-Fi controlled humidifier so I can check the humidity right on my phone, pretty much wherever I am. In our flower room, we got a 10x10 and we're running 4 Geek Beast 630 watt pros in there. We also have an evaporator, just like Ernie was talking about. But we also have a humidifier in the room as well. The evaporator is not big enough to handle that much space.
Yeah.
And then we do run, we have a module and it's called a sensor push. And that sends information via Bluetooth to our cell phone, and I can check the room wherever I am in the house. I don't have to actually physically go down and check it, right? Both rooms have AC Infinity exhaust fans, the T controllers. I tried to push for as much automation as I could. The more information at my fingertips, I felt more comfortable not checking the tent as much.
Knowledge is power, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're running like a synganic kind of grow. We got synthetic nutrients that we're feeding the plants. And we're running our genetics are run through Canuck seeds. We haven't really wandered too far away from them. We're fairly new at this game, so yeah. I was actually just wanted to mention the sensor push so that Ernie might want to take a look. I could send you a link for it from my Amazon if you want to.
That'd be sweet.
It's spot on. They're very accurate.
That and the AC Infinity fans. I'm looking into one of those too. You like those?
Yeah, absolutely. They're godsend. I would say besides my lights, that is probably the best piece of equipment I have in my tent.
Yeah.
Is that exhaust fan. Absolutely.
Just make sure you order more socks for it because you got to switch them out and wash them.
Yeah, for the carbon filters, right? It's always good to have extra.
Yeah, for sure.
I should actually mention that if you're not aware, Mars Hydro actually has a very competitive fan in that space now as well against the AC Infinity guys. So check that stuff out. And there should be links in the description when we're not doing this live, because I forgot to put them in. I'll give you a discount code to some stuff.
Oh, and we're not sponsored, by the way.
If gotta show the love when the love is
that's right.
due. So UT. Tell us about your space, sir.
Okay. I got like one room in my home here is dedicated to grow. I'm trying to get as perpetual as I can. I got 3 different tents to try to accomplish that, and it's a little difficult with making sure the lights don't cross each other within the room. And so I try to I grow organically, and I grow in earth boxes, which are a sub irrigation planter, where you water underneath of the soil. And then I do use living soil in that. And I grow, if you've ever watched the Build a Soil 10 by 10 series that Jeremy does,
Awesome.
that guy changed my life, man. That I'm telling you. I'm pretty much following the way he is, with a little bit of difference in some of the nutrients I put in there, but not much difference. And I dry in the tent, and I grow here in Arizona, so I have to have air conditioner. I kind of control, like, I guess you could call it the lung room, and then I can separately environmentally control the tents that way, and it works out pretty good. That I guess that's about the way I grow. And I clone, and I like to grow Skywalker Kush.
Very nice, very nice. If you're not familiar with Welcome to the Grow Tent, he's been doing some crazy stuff with the different Skywalker crosses and whatnot.
Yeah, I've been checking it out.
Yeah, he's got a great channel. I just love that dude's calm approach to gardening, man. Everybody should take a lesson from his book for sure.
It's pretty cool.
So
this is my first mom I made right here. Nice. Right here. I'm growing this to make some babies.
Yeah, breeding something I'd really like to get into here very, very, very soon, because I got a freak show male. He's just about ready to go into flowers, so that should be interesting. Riot Powder, you're not showing up in the stream here for some reason. Guys, Riot
Hello?
is our senior mod over on the Discord, and just a super awesome guy. Riot, tell us about your space.
Hey, how's it going? I just want to say thank you very much for that Dino Myco. You know, like I'm super stoked to try it. I haven't tried that mycorrhiza yet.
Oh, so good.
So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
And then about my grow and stuff. Well, I have a 5x5 area that's my bedroom, and that's about that's running with a T5 4-foot bulb, and yeah, it's just knocking it out of the park with in my bedroom. My flower room is a 4x4. I made it myself. I went out and bought the diamond mylar and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, so that's my flower room. I got 2 1000s, Vepr Spectra, and a 600 in there, blasting the large Marge that I so graciously got from you. Thanks, by the way.
Awesome when you're close. So awesome when you're close.
Yeah, it is. And yeah, everything's all passively controlled. I don't have too much for gear. I hand water everything. I daily maintenance down there every day. And yeah, just really old school approach to it, you know. I take the bamboos, and like I wire my girls up with the bamboo and stuff, and gardening wire. Yeah, very hands-on. Not I don't have anything for automation other than my timers for my lights.
Very in touch and tune with your garden. And it shows too, man. You got nice plants. So
yeah, that's a picture of the blueberry that I just finished.
yeah, unfortunately, I don't think the picture's showing up here. So I don't know. One of the things I need to, well, we can see it, but I don't think the live stream can see it because they don't get his image for some reason. So something I need to figure out is how to actually make that work in future casts. But for now, just know that he's sitting there, and his plant looks awesome. So
yeah, and I just wanted to do a little bit of a shout out for the Discord and everything like that. We're growing strong, and lots of fun and a lot of knowledge being shared. You know, it's like a real good time. We have a interactive discussion on Wednesday nights. So yeah, it's a real good time, a good place to learn. So if anybody wants to, you know, get their hands dirty with the organic side or whichever way you prefer to grow, you know,
Yeah.
there's somebody there to help.
But Discord, I've always found that Discord was my biggest source of information, man. When we first started growing, I joined the community last July. I can't believe it's been a year already. Like, so kudos to everybody out on the Discord, man. You all know who you are. You all know we appreciate you guys.
There's definitely a couple of good communities out there for sure. I mean, the one that we've just launched has in the last, I think, 6 weeks, we've grown to just about 100 members. Hopefully we'll hit that tonight. That would be very cool if we did. Otherwise, like Huygen, they've got one. CLTV's got one. Tramp, our boy from Discord. It's just everybody's got one, man. It's all this community coming together. So definitely jump into the Discord if you're not doing it. And that being said, Smokes a lot of spliffs. You've been super active on our Discord, and well, you've been having some growing adventures too, changing some stuff around lately. Why don't you tell us about your setup?
Yeah, so this grow's been kind of, it started out rough, but you know,
We had some
came back
adventures.
pretty good, you know, for what it is. But I'm running a single 4x4 Gorilla Grow tent. I was running a couple cheap Amazon Parpack Works RA2000s, getting the job done, but just recently I switched over to the Mars Hydro FCE 4800, and already it's killing it. You know, I got a small little, you know, automated cool mist humidifier, a small little DHUE, which I need to kind of upgrade at some point. What else? Running a 6-inch Hurricane inline fan with carbon filter for exhaust. Then another VivoSound 6-inch carbon filter, carbon fan outside the tent to, you know, as an intake, keep it cool in there and all that. Other than that, you know, I'm running Earth Fest dry amendments, which is a first for me. I just switched over to organics.
Yeah.
Like I said, it started out pretty rough. Matt actually found me over on Reddit and brought me over to the Discord, which was a total blessing because I wouldn't be where I'm at right now, this grow for sure.
We're
But
glad
we
to
got
have
it
you.
all figured out. I started out with like 6 plants. I'm down to 2. So, you know, but they're doing good. They're doing real good. And looks like it's going to be a pretty promising yield. But, you know, I'm not doing nothing crazy, just personal, you know, for now.
Yeah. And everybody's got their own way to do it. And I think that's the best thing about it. And, you know, it doesn't matter if you're growing synthetic, if you're growing organic, as long as you're growing. So I've always said, less money that's going to corporate. Of course, we all have to give money to corporate every once in a while because they're the ones who make our gear for the most part. And sometimes they make gear that's like really, really kick ass, man. And so, guys, let's talk about that favorite piece of gear. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in the grow room. It could be a piece of post-processing equipment, and maybe you've got a trimmer machine that really kicks ass. I know our boy Growing RX has some drying machines that he shows off that are just he swears by. So who wants to talk next about their favorite piece of gear?
Well, that's a tough one.
There's so many, aren't there?
Yeah, you
Right
can
now-
put
I'm gonna
it
have to say my
smart.
lights.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where I was going. But right now, my light is my favorite piece that I just got.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Mom.
Yeah, just the functionality, the Wi-Fi control. I can play with my spectrum. I can introduce far red just after we flip the flower. Keep it on for 7 to 9 days and see an increase in flower activity for sure. I was running SF 4000s and my my 10 by 10 before, and it was taking 2 weeks to see flower sites. Easy. Now I'm down to 7 to 9 days.
Very nice.
The UV spectrum I can introduce as well, and I can set individual program times for the lights. And, it was relatively inexpensive for the controller. It was like $25 per light, I think it was. So, the the flexibility of being able to play with the spectrum was, a big feature for me. And then the warranty, 5-year warranty on the entire fixture, that was appealing to me as well, because they go through a lot of abuse, right? Like they're on a lot. So, and you got to make sure they work. They're not cheap, so that's about it. Yeah.
Can you say again what light that is?
It's the Geek Beast 630 watt Pro.
That's right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I honestly believe they're a pretty good light. Like it's right up there.
Yeah. Wait, just touching quickly on something that you mentioned there about the UV and whatnot. And I've got that same light. Smokes does the FC E4800, and that's got the introduction of the UV LEDs as well. And major difference, man. I'm blown away about how much that's adding. So it's definitely good to see how these things continue to evolve, especially in the lower cost space where most of us home growers play at.
Yeah, exactly. Like there are some companies out there that do ask a little much for what they offer,
Oh yeah.
There is like that's undeniable. And for me, I try to find value for my money, so yeah, I bought the Spider Farmers. Like when we first started in this game, we jumped in with both feet, and I was ignorant. I didn't do my research. I did what everybody tells you not to do. You know what I mean? And then, and then through the game, I did research, and I was like, a couple face palms, but now we're here and feel a little bit better about the space,
Yeah. Well, and you do fall down with some of that gear from time to time, and I think we'll talk about that here shortly. Let's throw it over to Riot. Riot, what do you love in your growing room? What's that best piece of gear?
Okay, it's gonna sound a little lame or whatever.
Oh, I'm liking where this is going already.
It's my pH pen.
Nice.
Like that is my favorite equipment because where I'm at, my water temp fluctuates so much, just depending on the season and what the city is doing. So I had a lot of lockout issues before I had a pH pen, and it's my favorite piece of equipment. That I could actually dial in what's wrong since I got that piece of equipment. So it's been my favorite piece of equipment.
And we've talked about that. And we've talked about that too, your pH issues, because as anybody who follows my channel knows, I'm a big proponent of not having to pH. But even though you do the organic growing, because your situation requires it, I can definitely see how that would be such a key piece to your grow. So
I wouldn't have been able to grow at all if it was, because of just the fluctuations of the water. It was mind-boggling, to say the least.
Right on. So, smokes a lot of spliffs. Are you gonna tell us what's your favorite piece of gear then?
Right now, like I said, it's my new light.
Yeah.
I've never had adjustability like that. Being able to dim it and all that, and that coverage is amazing. But yeah, I like that.
Yeah, solid build, good build quality overall, and you gotta love that control.
Great investment, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. How about you, UT? What do you love for your favorite piece of gear?
Well, I see Cheddar Bob and Growing RX joking kind of in chat about the ergonomics of and the good need for a good rolling chair in the grow room. It's kind of funny, but I'm disabled a little bit. It's kind of hard for me to move around and get into the tent and kind of how when you water normally you got to kind of move around and get around the whole plant and everything. So my favorite tool is my earth boxes, because I tell you what, it puts it right down in it. There's a hole, and I put the water in,
Yep.
and I can sit in the chair and I can put the water in. And I tell you right now, I went from taking hours to water my plants to just an hour I'm done in the garden. And so it really is my favorite tool is my earth boxes and of course my chair.
Right on, right on. And personally for myself, and actually the side note, tomorrow morning, Dry Black and I have an interview on Meet the Grower, and she asked me back on this question. I was saying it's my Chapin sprayer. So spoiler, but I recently got that thing in I think it's April time frame, and man, what a nice piece of equipment, because it's like you say, it makes things more accessible, makes things more easier. You don't have to get down and under and around and try and do something, because it's got that reach to it with a nice long wand and stuff. So definitely anything that can save you some time, save you some money, and save a bit of a sword back, because sometimes it's tough getting into those corners. Definitely worth its while. All right. So anything else anybody wants to touch on favorite pieces of gear? Second favorite? Anything else? No?
I definitely agree with Riot on the pH pen.
Yeah.
Good call on that one, because we're the same. Our waters, who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, and it's sometimes you stick with the fundamentals, and you'll have that consistency in your grow. I consistently have the same quality and yield from my organic growing, like using the Gaia Green product line, and soon to be using the Dynamyco. But yeah, so I just think that when you take the basics and you just hold on to them, that's where you'll get your consistency from.
Oh, for sure. And while I don't pH my water specifically, if I start noticing an issue, the first thing I'm doing is reaching for that pH meter, just to make sure that something isn't out of whack, because of course that has the greatest chance to cause the most drastic effects in your garden, especially if things go far out of whack. Now, speaking out of whack and things going downhill, everybody's bought a piece of gear. It's probably a fan. What's the crappiest stuff that you've had in your grow room? The stuff that you just want to take and bash with a baseball bat because it's such an epic piece of crap. And I'm going to say fans, man. Oscillating fans. Cheap oscillating fans. We've all learned that lesson the hard way, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Got one that just died on us, actually.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny that you bring that up.
Yeah, well, I got one that's going on 4 years now. That was
Wow.
a cheap one. I don't know how it's still going, but
Never turn it off.
Knock on wood.
exactly.
That's the truth.
It's in the greenhouse now, so it's on 24/7. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully it lasts the summer.
Right on. So, UT, Smokes a Lattice Cliff, something you want to tell us about?
Hey, just like can't think of anything. I mean,
You've been blessed so far, but
I've-
it's been reliable.
I've really tried to invest. I've really tried to invest in quality products. So
Yeah.
nothing's really given me too much issue so far.
Well, it's a good way to look at it too, because I mean, when we're doing what we're doing, you're spending a lot of time, a lot of money on just getting these plants to grow. So to have a piece of gear go down because you decided to go a little cheaper really does suck and kind of totally burns you. So that's the thing. I mean, it's certainly worth investing.
Definitely
UT, did you have something?
Those cheap pH pens.
Oh yeah,
I broke so many of those. Like that's got to be the my pet peeve of those pH pens. why did they even sell them some of those? You know what I mean? They're prone to break
Buy 'em.
real quick.
Yeah, $15
Yeah.
on Amazon.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you get the stuff with the calibration solution, I'm sure it's fine. And
Oh, yeah.
Right.
yeah, you guys touch on, like, I think we've hit pH pens here a couple times, and that's, just to beat this subject up a little bit. This is such a place where people can follow down because, one, I mean, like you say, you get the cheap pen, looks attractive. Oh, yeah, I'll get this. Look, there's a whole bunch. They must be decent. Don't really know what company to pick from, but they all kind of look the same. So this one is, but hey, it's got a solution. And that's the thing. If your pH pen isn't calibrated, you could be dragging yourself the absolute wrong way with your grow because, I mean, we're not looking at too much of a fluctuation where things could be causing deficiencies, toxicities, and that sort of thing. So it's definitely worth it to spend some decent money to get a pen that you can calibrate on a regular basis there. And that's the big one there. So
Yeah, I just got the Apria 80, I think it's called, something like that. And it's got the replaceable probe at the bottom of it. So if it
nice.
dries out, you can just buy the probe rather than buying a whole new pen, which is pretty nice.
Those
Yeah.
ones are pretty good. I have the same one.
I have the pH 60 version of the Apple instruments.
Yeah, I get that one too. I get two of them. I bought the cheap ones and they didn't last a year and I ran into all kinds of problems. Water was going wacky. I was putting in down when I'm supposed to be putting up in, and that's when I stopped using pens and I bought these expensive ones. And since I've been doing organics, I haven't used a pen in 2 years. But
yeah, I picked up that Blue Lab soil pH pen recently because as an organic grower, well, the pH of my water isn't necessarily that important as long as I'm within, a workable range. The pH of my soil absolutely is. And being able to keep an eye on that and maintain it has already sort of helped me with a couple things that I've been looking at. But it's just information. It's in that aspect, I think we've all said it is get a good pH meter. That's something you want to spend some money on. Now, what about customer service? There's a lot of different companies out there, and lights, for example. There's a lot of different lighting companies. Go Mars Hydro, and if you have to deal with some sort of warranty return, any sort of repair issue. I don't know. Has anybody got a bad customer service experience from one of these grow companies, or a good one that they want to talk about? Something where they've really turned around and given you the love.
I shop local here, and the owner of the company seen me coming into his shop all the time, and I wasn't aware that they had a loyalty program. And he personally took out a gift card and put loyalty points onto this card so that I could get this gift card or whatever. And I was like, that was a hats off. That's great customer service, thegrowzone.ca.
Cool.
Anybody wants to check it out? Yeah.
Yeah, those local
I have
grow
had,
shops, for sure. Go ahead.
I have had excellent customer service, A+ service with the Green Sunshine Company, the company that makes the earth-based amendments I'm using. Excellent grow support. It's been really, really good. I will say, I don't even want to say it because they do make a great tent, but Gorilla Grow tent was not so good.
Interesting.
Dealing with a warranty issue, but they got it resolved in the end. So.
Yeah, warranty should never be difficult for any company. Just resolve the problem for the customer.
Right.
A lot of other companies out there to go and shop with for sure. So, what about you, Ernie? Or Riot? Any other companies you want to talk about? Anything bad, Riot? Maybe.
With those, I'll go back to that pH pen thing because I went down the rabbit hole with all those cheap pens. I'm still running a cheap pen because, well, I'm a budget grower, so I've been having to use those cheaper pens and calibrating on every time I use it, you have to calibrate it, kind of thing. So that is going to be my next. That is going to be my next big purchase. My next upgrade is probably a long-term pH pen, because you ain't going to get more than a year out of those cheap ones.
Very interesting. Very
I'd say
interesting.
Blue Labs or Epra.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't tried the Epra ones, but I'm loving the Blue Labs, but not cheap. So you got to spend the money, and you got to get the solution, because you got to get that storage solution and you get the calibration solution. But is what it is, what it is. And I'm just watching the chat here, and Growing RX, he's one of the mods over the Discord, long time friend and whatnot. And he had an issue with Trim Daddy where gets like a brand new, and these things aren't cheap, like they're 350 Canadian, I think. If you're not familiar, it's a little auto trimmer system, and you just but yeah, he got it. I think it died within the first day, and they bent over backwards with customer service to help him out. So I mean, they charge top dollar for their product, but they also deliver top notch customer service. And I'll give a shout out to Low Temp plates and whatnot. One of my favorite other pieces of gear is my press, of course, because it's my press, and I love my press. But just from a customer service side and standpoint, before I was dealing with them from a channel standpoint, they were just really, really wonderful to talk to and helpful and whatnot. So I definitely show them a little love if you guys are looking to get into a press. Just check out their site, and they're a little more expensive, I think, some other guys, but just the quality and the service. I mean, that's where they really, really stand up and whatnot. Let's talk now about unconventional things in the grow room. Weird piece of gear that you got in there. Something that you're doing in there because you need something different. Tell me about it.
I'm gonna jump in on that one. Something I just found.
Oh, I know where you're going with this one. This is awesome.
So, not necessarily in the grow room, but it is a piece of equipment I use. My air pump for composting, nebulizer, asthma treatment machine. Excellent. Bubbler. It really is cool. And I mean, you got to think about it. It's a piece of medical equipment. So you figure that the QC process on that is way more extensive than on a regular pump. So I figure it'll probably last longer. My wife had one sitting around. I was like, let's just see if it works. It works great.
That is pretty amazing. That is amazing. Like on the Discord there, when you showcased that nebulizer, I was like, why didn't I ever think of something like that? Because that's it gives her. Yeah.
Right on. I'll just briefly talk about my watering systems. I run Blue Mats. Love the Blue Mats. Yeah, keep the beds nice and moist. But I'm going to guess I'm probably one of very few growers who suspends 15 to 20 gallons of water 6 feet high up in the air above their lights and the rest of their grow space. But hey, it works really well for me. So something different. One of these days I'll probably make a mistake and do something stupid, but that hasn't happened yet. So fingers crossed.
I spoke earlier about the light leak problem I have in my room because of the different tints. I have to control different environments. Yep. I use green lights of the proper spectrum to kind of use shield to make kind of light shield walls between the tints.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't have really light leaks. But this is just like another precaution. I use these green lights in my room to literally keep the white light from like my T5, maybe where I keep my seedlings, my clones, into the tints. It's like the green light suppresses the white light. It seems to work. I don't have any issues with light leaks or stress in any way. And I don't see anybody else doing that. So
that's definitely interesting. How long have you been running that like that for?
6 months, and it seems to be working good. I had 3 crops on it.
Can't argue with results. Somebody just sparked something up there.
Yeah, that was me.
Nice.
Delicious.
I'm gonna find my pen here. So
yeah.
So somebody else regale us with a tale of weird gear while I dig around for a dab here.
Well, it's not really weird. I found this little sprayer atomizer thing. at a thrift shop for $10, and that's what I use for my foliars, and it gives me that lighter mist that some of my other water bottles don't have. So
It's almost like it's like a perfume sprayer, eh? The thing that you showed in the Discord this week.
yeah, and that's my sprayer. It only sprays a cup, but
Again,
it works. I think it's a little weird, but
I
it
get
works.
one a little bit weirder. I'd have to say my funkiest thing is a turkey baster.
Awesome.
And
how to use it. So
but I use it for watering seedlings and just watering plants, and you can really get into it. And it's a good measured amount for seedlings, and you can get the water right around the edge of the pot instead of getting it dampened by the stem. And it's just a kind of a funny thing, but I use it a lot this year. I had 16 plants in a very small area, so I had to like really reach around, and really tough to get into places, but it worked pretty neat. So
That's awesome. That is freaking awesome.
thank you. It just kind of came to me.
Hey, and that's the thing. Sometimes you're out there, you're in the grow, you're like, hey, I gotta do something to fix this, make this better. And you get that moment of inspiration. So I don't get too many of those, unfortunately.
Our weirdest thing we do is use toilet paper rolls for pots for our seedlings.
Awesome idea. Recyclable, organic, essentially. That wouldn't work, man. So if you're enjoying
idea.
maybe throw yourself on mute there. That's a great idea. And so, do you wait until they're sort of big enough and pull them out, or until the toilet paper roll starts to degrade?
It decomposes in the pots, so there is no transplanting.
Awesome. That's a great idea. It's a great idea. Hey, just a little bit of innovation, right? Using the stuff around you, keeping it local. That's the key, right? Keep it local, guys. Everybody's screwed up in the grow room. But there's been a piece of gear that's probably helped and maybe saved your ass. Let's talk about that next. Who wants to go first? What's been a savior piece of equipment in the grow room?
Pesticide. I had 3
Bugs
plants.
are never fun, man.
Yeah, I had three plants in the 10 by 10 when we first started, and I found a thrip larvae. I just boom, just nuke the tent.
Yeah, I've used a Dr. Doom fogger before for dealing with thrip infestations. Not with any plants in flower or anything like that. Although they say it will work. I haven't used that in a while. This year, I'm trying to stay ahead of the game with the thrips. Using Cucumaris in the grow space.
I just want to touch a little bit on that product there. With the fogger and stuff like that, it is safe to eat the products after you use it. It's not necessarily healthy to combust it. Yeah. So you might need, like, if you have to use that product in flower, then chances are you should be washing your bud afterwards to get the residue off.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the stuff that we had told us 7 days. You had no more or no less than 7 days before you were to pick the plant or pick the fruit. The fruit.
He bombed it so bad we had to bath the plants. They were thick in film.
Mistakes. It sounds like me and my wettable sulfur incident about a month ago, where if you're not aware, folks, you can't spray or mist wettable sulfur onto your plants if you've used any sort of neem oil or similar in weeks previous, because it makes your leaves a little bit sticky and the sulfur doesn't run off, and suddenly you get powdery film all over your plants. And that was something really stupid I did, but don't be like me. As far as gear saving my ass, man, it's going to be the AC and dehumidifiers, because I run such weird temperature ranges from, outdoors -40 to outside. I mean, plus 35, or I guess that would be -40 Fahrenheit to about almost 95. So I get quite a large variation in temperature. So in the winter, of course, it's more dehumidifier that I need, but definitely in the summer that AC unit, and especially because I'm growing in a garage, I gotta have it. And having that nice big piece of AC just keeps things nice and cool. Anyone else? Key pieces of gear.
Need an
Oh.
exhaust fan.
Exhaust fans, yeah.
Uh,
Light timers.
I was just about
Yeah.
to say timers. I get a little flack from this from some of the people on the Discord, but I swear by mechanical timers that are mechanical, right? Like you push the pin in, and that's how you
right.
set them. And
Yeah.
no matter if you go through a power outage or what, it'll kick back on where it left off, and you'll still have your timing, like for your plants and stuff. So that's a key piece of equipment for me, having
Yeah, I'd
that.
have to agree with you on the mechanical part, because I had a digital one, and it kept the lights on for like 3 days.
Oh wow!
Because I hadn't had it set right.
Yeah.
And with the mechanical, it's nice and easy. You get an on and off spot, and that's it, and it's set and forget it.
And well, seeing how we were talking about mechanical stuff, just most of my equipment that I have is set by a mechanical setting, so it can be put on timers and everything like that, and it'll just kick back on to where it is when if there was ever to have any issues, and most gear could be used with those devices, right? Like if you're using an Inkward or something similar to that as a controller, it's more universal when you get equipment like that. Keeping it more simple. The more that you don't have the control over, the chances are that you're gonna have equipment failures or timing issues or anything like that.
The smarter a piece of equipment is, the dumber it can get. I have a smart plug that I use in my veg tent because if I have a light issue, it's not super critical. But what had happened was the Wi-Fi lost its mind, and this thing wasn't connecting for a couple days, and it wasn't running its schedule. It was just running 24 hours a day. And I didn't realize it until it'd been a couple days after I'd been doing some late night foliar sprays that it was getting some burning on the plants. And it was like, what the hell? And yeah, it was just that wireless or the wireless signal to the smart plug that wasn't working so well. So that's the thing. Right, what you're saying has a lot of merit. At the same time, mechanical equipment does wear out. So you got to play both sides of the coin. If you're going to go with a digital piece of equipment, spend the good money. Just don't get the cheap stuff off Amazon that looks attractive. A few weeks back, we had Niwa Grow Hub on the show, and I know if Bionic Rooster's in the chat, he rants about those guys, says they're awesome. I haven't had a chance to work with them yet, but just it seems like a great team over there. Really cool device, and it's about reliability. One of the things that I built. It's been a couple years now, was a grow room controller. It's what I launched the channel with. And I had so many reliability issues with that just because of cheap sensors that I eventually just retired the piece of equipment, because not that the design was bad, it was just the components that I had sucked. So I don't know. It's relying too much on equipment sometimes can really burn you, but sometimes it's just nice to be able to walk away from the grow knowing that everything is being looked after somewhat. Now, when we talk about industry, there's a lot of players out there, a lot of different gear, lights, timers, watering systems, all this different stuff. Who would you say to stay away from? What are the bad companies out there?
That can be a matter of so many things, personal opinion, obviously, right? Some people could have a good experience with the company, and you can have a poor experience with the company. For me, I've been saying it since I bought them, the Spider Farmers. So I'll never touch them again.
Yeah.
2 months after I bought those SF4000s, I had a whole half a quadrant on that light just shut down on me, just died. That kind of money for something shouldn't last only 2 months. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have to worry about things like that early in the game. You know, that was a red flag for me.
Yeah.
And then after doing research, I just saw a lot of people complaining about customer service problems. You know what I mean? Fortunately, I bought mine on Amazon, so I got my money back. And yeah, I had a bad experience with them. You know, and that's basically all it boils down to.
There you go. And that's the thing. It's how a company stands up. Quick shout out to Too Many Lines in the Sky USA. A little donation in the chat there. Certainly appreciate that. But I just hitting a point here from iMatic in the chat. If there is a piece of equipment that's key, have a working backup for it, right? So, I mean, stuff can get expensive, you know. But definitely having something, even if it's a cheap piece of fan or something that'll limp you along for a couple days while you're waiting for a replacement, it's not a bad idea. But has anybody else had a poor experience with a company overall that they just never go back to? Or just they think generally their gear isn't very good? Not to... Go ahead.
I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't buy another Gorilla.
Yeah.
Now, after doing some research, I probably would have gone with the AC Infinity. I hear their customer service is on point. So
yeah, well, Mars makes some good stuff in that regard too. So
and I think super quality tents too. So
yeah, for sure. So I guess at the end of the day, I look at VivoSun as being a company that makes so many products that they spread themselves thin in terms of quality. Very much entry level gear, and I don't think that they suck because they're like the entry level component, right? It's you buy this until it breaks, and then you replace it with something that's actually good because you're going to need it. But I don't know. There's so many companies to be out there, and especially dodgy lighting companies. Like if you're getting into growing for the first time and you jump on Amazon and you see that, companies like Mars and some of the companies that we've talked about have lights at a certain price point, say $200, then you see something very similar from a company that you've never heard of and has some very funny sounding name. Red flag, guys. Like there's just fly-by-night lighting companies out there, and I've not dealt with any cheap lights. I shouldn't say that. The very, very, very first lights that I bought were some really super cheap ones, but I just didn't know any better, like at all. So it's really mattered doing your research.
You can find a diamond in the rough though. Like look at Rooster. He's got a Spider Farmer clone that just obliterated my Spider Farmers. Like you know what I mean? Like so it just goes to show you, it not necessarily the components, but the company. You know what I mean? Like it's I don't know, man. It's like I said, it's all personal opinion, right? When it comes to that kind of stuff.
Well, experience leads to opinion, and I mean that's ultimately where you're going to get that from. All right, guys. Well, I think we're starting to wind down the cast here. We're beating up on the same topics a little bit again and again. But let's finish her off with one question, because let's face it, at the end of the day, we're always looking at something new and shiny. What's at the top of your wish list?
More
Okay, so Smokes, you go first, buddy.
Well, there was some grassroots beds, but you got that covered, so I want to say thank you for that.
Well, now you got to get some blue mats, man. Gotta get the blue mats.
Right on.
And a better dehumidifier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. UT, you said something there?
Well, I was actually congratulating Smokes a lot of splits for those grassroots beds he got. So those are nice. But I want those Mars Hydro, those new Mars Hydro lights, the EC ones. Those are that's the top of my one list for sure.
They're wonderful lights, man. Super, super nice. A little bit more work to put them together than the usual light, but well worth it at the end there.
It wasn't bad at all.
Yeah. What about you, Riot? What are you thinking, man? What's at the top of your wish list?
Top of my wish list. Don't really have a wish list. I get what I want. I, I've always thought of like do your research first and then get your products.
Yeah.
Like just don't go, oh, I'm gonna get this, and yeah, like that's probably the best thing you could do is do your research first and then you get what you want.
Yeah, and talk to people too. And quick plug to the Discord. Come and join us on the Discord, guys. Like throwing the link up a bunch in the chat there. Because the thing is, if you've got questions about a piece of gear, the community's getting so large to the point now where odds are somebody's going to have something or something similar, or have a similar experience with that company, and they can give you a recommendation or a red flag. Ernie, you got anything on the list there? Something that you're looking at?
An exhaust fan.
Yeah.
Is probably, and it's a matter of should I get the 8-inch or the 6-inch? I'm trying to decide. I'd rather go a little bit bigger and have more adjustability.
Yeah.
Than just have just enough. But that's probably about it, you know. And I'd like to say one thing about these lights, kind of the diamond in the rough, so to speak. I got cob lights. They were a full spectrum. Lorado, I think. I can't remember the name of it, but they were $90 a piece, and they pulled 200 watts from the wall, and they did pretty good. So I had 4 lights for 4 plants. Each plant got a light, and they were great. They worked good. The only problem is the switch would die on them, and the company, I guess this is good, but they sent me a box of switches instead of sending me lights. So they must have known that they had a switch problem. And so.
Yeah, and not to say that you can't get a decent light for a lower price. It's just, I mean, it's a perfect example there. What are they going to do if there's a problem? They're going to actually warranty their product properly, or are they going to point it back to you and say, well, here, you fix it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I just got quantum boards for lights, and what a major difference. I mean, it's just, it's tremendous.
Yeah, build quality, light output, get all the photons.
Yeah.
All right on. You know, personally, there's just something to monitor if I've left the lights on. That's all. I'm a simple man who makes dumb mistakes on occasion. So if somebody can just give me a little device that I can stick on the wall and, you know, hey, your lights are on, dummy. That's it, man. So electronic companies, you're missing it, man. Like $20 in a cheap app. Like seriously, you left your lights on, dummy.
Dropping hints.
Yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Mars.
Get your little camera.
Yeah.
Get your little Wi-Fi camera.
Oh yeah. Well, then you have to
check it from your phone.
Yeah. Then you got to remember and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's all good. It's all good. Okay, guys. Well, I think we're getting to the end here. Anybody have any final thoughts, last words they want to say about gear, equipment, companies in general?
Monitoring your temperature and your humidity can really affect a good quality product at the end. If you pay attention to that, look up the VPD.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that's a good piece of information. That's a good rabbit hole to go down to.
Yeah,
Absolutely. We live by it.
Yeah. And having a couple of those, even, you know, lower cost monitors in the space, just the displays, because they're going to have some variance in tolerance. The average humidity sensor has a plus or minus 5% humidity reading on it. So having a couple that you can go off of helps reassure you that you're at least in that zone.
Quick tip for those humidity sensors. I take humidity packs, the 62, the Bovita, and I'll put the sensor in a Ziploc bag and then close it.
Showing up for the real tips here, folks. That one's gold, Mo. Gold. Love it. Yeah, try that and see how accurate mine are.
Yeah, and then again, the sensor push, that gives you your VPD. You know, look them up. It's pretty handy, man. I think that's probably one of my biggest. It's a lot of stress taken off the shoulders when I can just go, oh look, we're good. You know, oh shit, my humidity is low. I better go check my humidifier.
Danger,
You know? Danger, yeah.
All right. Okay, guys. Well, unless anybody else has anything else to add, I think we're gonna call her a show. I would like to thank each and every one of you for joining the cast tonight. It's definitely been a pleasure having you here, chat about grow gear. Everybody here is in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, come join the Discord, guys. We have good times over there. Super shout out to my boy Riot, because he touched on it a little bit, and I think he was a little too modest about it. For the last several weeks here, he's been hosting an interactive discussion Wednesday night starting around 7:30 Mountain Time, and he leads a discussion similar to what we've had tonight, but with a few more people, and we really kind of just stick to one topic. Sometimes we dance around, but it's overall a real good time, a real good interactive discussion. So if you want to join us, join the Discord, and again, get a chance to come on one of these shows, please stop and by. And if you like what I'm doing and like what my channel's all about, hey, Patreon's there too to support me. That being said, guys, I'm Matt, and this is fotosyntech. UT, Smoking Ernie, Mo and Joe, Smokes a lot of spliffs, Riot Powder. Appreciate all of you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.